So test 3 review questions 14 and 15. We're going to find the unknown number, which is the x, in the proportion. And then we'll round the answer to the nearest hundredth. Alright, so what we know about proportions is that when you have this times this number here is going to equal this times this number. So let's write that down, what I just said. X times 10 that cross multiplication is going to be equal to this cross multiplication, to the 20 times the 1. So what that means is we can solve for x when it's set up this way. And anytime you have multiplication with your x, or with your variable, the way to isolate your variable, or to get your x standing all by itself, is to do the opposite function. So you have 10 times the x. So now if you divide by the 10 on this side, and whatever you do to this side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other side. And that is a rule for algebra. So if you're dividing by 10 on this side, you have to divide by 10 on this side. And what that does is it cancels out the 10 here, and then you have just x equal to 20 times 1 over 10, and that solves for the x. So then you have x equals 20, because 20 times 1 is 20, divided by 10. And we know that then x equals, and what that is 10 into 20, just like that. And that goes 2 times. So we have x equal to 2 for the answer on 14. We solved the proportion. Do we have to round to the nearest hundredths place on that problem? No, we don't, because it's already a whole number. Okay, another way to think of it is, if it's confusing, is you can think of it in 2 steps. You can say that step 1 is multiply 20 times 1. Yeah, multiply 20 times 1, and then step 2, divide by 10. That's what we did. We multiplied 20 times 1, then divided by 10. So anytime you multiply where the 2 numbers are, that means you divide by the number left over. That's another procedure you can think of. But what you're really doing is this algebra here that I showed you. And this is kind of a shortcut way to think of it. Alright, so then on number 15, once again, you're going to have the 1 times the 9 equal to the 2 times the x. So we are going to have, let's do it the way I did it. 2 times the x is going to be equal to the 1 times the 9. Okay? So then, if you divide both sides by 2, then you will have your answer. So we're going to divide by 2 here and divide by 2. So that cancels, because 2 over 2 equals 1. Any number over itself is equal to 1. So then you'll have x equals 9 over 2. That is going to be a mixed fraction. Let's put it over here. X equals 9 over 2, which that's an improper fraction. So you can change it to a decimal, and it's saying nearest hundredths place. So let's change it to a decimal. This is indicating by that th on the end that it wants the answer in a decimal. And how you do that without the calculators, remember you're dividing the bottom number into the top. 2 goes into 9 4 times, and that's 8. Subtract, you have 1, but we're going to make it a decimal. So we're adding a 0 after the decimal point and bringing it down. And then 2 into 10 is 5. So we end up with a decimal of 4.5 for our x. So all I did was change this fraction 9 halves into the decimal 4.5. So then x equals 4.5. It doesn't apply to round to the nearest hundredths place, because this is the tenths place, 1/10th place. Okay, and again, what we did, if you look at the shortcut way, step 1, we multiplied 2 times 9.1 and then divided by the 2. So we multiplied here and divided by that, and that's how we got our x. Okay.